In this video, I read 3 poems that were included in the first edition of A Bard Out of Time and Other Poems, but didn't make the cut for the second edition of it. Conquest is a sestina, and sestinas have a specific structure. They have 7 stanzas. The first 6 stanzas each have 6 lines, and the last stanza has 3. Now, the words that appear at the end of each line in the first stanza have to be different words, and each one of those words is going to appear at the end of the lines in the next 5 stanzas. But they appear in a different order, and that order is very specific. The last stanza also has all 6 of those words, with 3 at the end of the line and 3 in the middle of each of those 3 lines. So it is difficult to do these well. I don't think I did badly with this one, but when I was going through and selecting the poems for the second edition, I had more poems available, and this one just didn't seem to fit with the kind of flow that developed in the collection as a whole. And that's why I didn't include it. Conquest. It started when the king of Urlap died. The line was split between the burly Prince Dmitri and his cousin Ungar. Love of power dominated as each man attempted to become the one to rule the kingdom. Enter the Dragon Lord. It had been decades since the Dragon Lord had brought his armies forth. Some said he died, so quiet he had been, but he still ruled the dragon horde, waiting, watching, a prince of darkest magic at his side. No man was he, this dragon lord. He had no love for man or elf or dwarf. His only love was magic. It would make him overlord of all the lands. But first, the lands of man would fall. So when the king of Urlap died, he left his slumber and attacked. The prince was well prepared for battle, claimed his rule, and stood his ground. His cousin claimed to rule as well, but went to Urlap Keep. His love of life was strong. He sent for aid. The Prince of Elves, Naween, despised the Dragon Lord and came at once when told he hadn't died. The battle for the world was fought by man and elf and dragon in the lands of man. The dwarves sat out. They had no need to rule the upper world. So many thousands died, their flesh and bones became a swamp with loveless thickets, bloody pools. Their dragon lord was met in battle by the elfish prince. They fought with magic, sword, and bow. The prince was struck a mortal blow and fell. A man, his name is lost, then struck the dragon lord a lucky deadly thrust to end his evil rule. The dragons fled. Dmitri held no love for Ungar, but was glad he hadn't died. The dragon lord was slain. The elvish prince had died. The balance was renewed, and man returned to rule a world in need of love. When I went through the poems for the second edition, I decided not to include sWORDplay because, well, it was an early poem, and some of my early poems were not that great. And this one, well, it has a lot of wordplay in it, but it doesn't have a lot of substance. It's not really telling a very good story. Even though I'm playing with words, it rhymes, it's a ballad, etc., I just didn't think that it was good enough for the second edition. I had more poems available. I included the science fiction poems in the second edition when they weren't in the first one. And the quality of this one didn't really measure up to the rest of them. Swordplay. Have you ever heard of Moxie, or the words of lexicon? What of medic with epoxy, and the mighty paragon? They are heroes of the ages, spoken of with tragic note. The greatest of the sages, Lord Encyclopedic wrote. At his side was kindly medic, healer of the fallen men, raising armies with his magic by restoring life and limb. Their companion in this battle was a finely spoken one. He was often known to prattle, did this wordsmith lexicon. 3 in number were the fellows who had sought Lord Paragon to release him from the bellows dungeon of the burning sun. There they slew the evil dragon that had captured Paragon, who had gone there on an errand that was worthy of the man. Paragon had sought a treasure stolen by the burning sun, and returned with fullest measure, with the gift of truth he'd won. In the end our heroes prospered, Moxie, Medic, Lexicon. They had freed our mighty master. Truth was held in Paragon. Such it was and has been quoted by the sages of our time. Lord Encyclopedic wrote it, perfect rhythm, perfect rhyme. Now it's time my song has ended, for my words are at a close. Now my duty has been tended for the circle's bardic prose. The last poem, The Serpent's Tongue, is one of my really early sonnets. And my sonnets at that time were a bit clunky. And I was basically writing them line by line by line and treating each line kind of as a separate unit, or 2 lines paired together as a separate unit. And that creates a kind of artificial flow to it. Because a good sonnet is going to have sentences and phrases that end in the middle of lines. They're going to have enjambment. They're going to have a better flow. And they're going to sort of mask the rhyming in those poems. I didn't really learn that until much later. And so this one I didn't include because the quality of this sonnet didn't measure up enough to warrant it. Doesn't mean it's a terrible or a bad poem, it just is reflective of my early work. The Serpent's Tongue. They came with vengeance late one dreamy night, and brought afflictions to the village folk. The giant serpents with their poisoned bite were singing riddles and sadistic jokes. Their poisoned fangs were frightful things to see, attached to human heads with snake-like tails. More frightful still, their songs of mockery and haunted laughter like a banshee wail. They slithered through the streets and struck with ease. They brought with them a slow and painful death. And not unlike a fetid wet disease, they infiltrated deeper with each breath. They never once attacked us with their teeth. They killed us all with twisted gaiety. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, press the button for it and consider subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your time.